Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really focusing in on something pretty vital, mastering your personal finances, especially now. And look, this isn't about becoming a millionaire overnight. It's about getting a handle on things, feeling in control.
Exactly. It's about empowerment, really.
You're likely here because you want to get up to speed on this, but, efficiently, without getting lost in jargon.
Right.
So think of this as a shortcut. We're pulling the key ideas straight from this really insightful source material.
Yeah, we've distilled it down. Our goal, our mission today, is to extract the most valuable bits about investing, budgeting, and also these automated tools that are popping up everywhere.
So you can walk away with actual steps, things you can do. Things
you can do now. We'll cover stuff like compound interest, how money grows on its own almost.
Which sounds like magic, but isn't.
Yeah, almost. And we'll touch on why so many folks are, living paycheck to paycheck. That's a big one.
A huge one. And the AI stuff too, like AI financial coaches.
Oh yeah, definitely getting into that. It's a fascinating development.
Okay, cool. Let's dive right in then. Investing. Why is this so crucial? Why should we even bother?
Well, fundamentally, investing is about making your money work for you over the long term. Two main reasons really stand out.
Okay.
First, compound interest. It's incredibly powerful. Imagine you put aside, say, $100 a month, and you get an average return, maybe 7% a year.
Seems reasonable.
Over 20 years, you haven't just put in $24,000. Because of compounding earning returns on your returns, that pot could grow to, well, potentially over $50,000.
Wow. Okay. That's significant.
It really is. Like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger. The second reason, inflation.
The silent wealth killer.
Exactly. Prices go up over time, so the cash you have just sitting there buys less and less. Investing helps your money grow faster than inflation, so you actually maintain or ideally increase your purchasing power, your real wealth.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
So putting that into practice, what are the main investment avenues the article points to?
It lays out a few key options, each with its own sort of risk-reward profile. You've got stocks, shares in companies.
Right. High growth potential.
Potentially high growth, yes, but also more volatile. Their value can swing up and down quite a bit.
Okay.
Then there are bonds, generally seen as lower risk than stocks. They provide more of a steady income stream.
Less exciting, maybe, but steadier.
Perhaps. And then you have ETFs, exchange-traded funds and index funds. Think of these like baskets of investment.
Diversification in a box.
Pretty much. An ETF might hold stocks from dozens, even hundreds of companies, or bonds. It makes diversification, spreading your risk, really easy. And they often have low fees.
Lower costs are good.
Definitely. The article mentions Warren Buffett's famous bet. He bet a simple S&P 500 index fund would beat fancy hedge funds over 10 years.
And he won. Right.
He won, comfortably. It just shows the power of broad market exposure and keeping costs down.
That story always sticks. Any other major investment types mentioned?
Yeah, real estate gets a mention. Buying property, it's a tangible asset, something you can touch, plus potential rental income.
Sure.
And then cryptocurrencies. The article is clear. High risk, very speculative.
Definitely feels that way sometimes.
But it does note that the rules, the regulations around crypto, seem to be getting a bit clearer looking at 2025.
Okay, interesting. So lots of options. But investing isn't just set it and forget it, is it? What are the common hurdles?
No, definitely not always smooth. Two big things come up. First is just market volatility. Markets go up, markets go down.
Like the crypto roller coaster in 2022-23.
Exactly that. Big swings can make people nervous, lead to hasty decisions.
Panic selling.
Right. And that ties into the second challenge, our own psychology, behavioral biases. We panic sell when things dip, or we get FOMO, fear of missing out.
Oh yeah, FOMO is real.
It is. You see something shoot up, you jump in without really thinking it through. That could be dangerous.
So managing your emotions is as important as picking the right investment.
Absolutely key. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk budgeting. The article really hammers home how vital this is.
Yeah, I saw that stat about living paycheck to paycheck. It was sobering.
It really is. 78% of Americans in 2024. That tells you that understanding where your money actually goes is step one for so many people.
So budgeting isn't about, being cheap.
Not at all. It's not about restriction. It's about clarity, empowerment. Knowing your cash flow lets you track spending, see where you can cut back maybe, pay down debt, and actually save for your goals. It's the foundation.
Okay, I get that. So how do we actually do it? What methods does the article suggest?
It gives a few popular ones. There's the 50-30-20 rule. Simple starting point.
How does that work?
Roughly 50% of your take-home pay goes to needs rent, utilities, groceries, essentials.
Okay.
About 30% goes to wants dining out, entertainment, hobbies, that kind of thing.
With fun stuff.
Yeah. And the final 20% is crucial. Savings and paying off debt.
50, 30, 20. Got it. What else?
Then there's zero-based budgeting. This is the idea behind tools like YNOW.
Yeah.
You need a budget.
Zero-based? Sounds intense.
It just means every single dollar you earn gets a job.
Yeah.
Assigned to a category: spending, saving, debt. Nothing left unassigned. Very intentional.
I see. Gives everything a purpose.
Exactly. And for people who like something more hands-on, there's the envelope system.
Like actual envelopes with cash.
Yep. You literally put cash for different categories, groceries, gas, entertainment, into labeled envelopes. When the envelope's empty, you stop spending in that category for the month.
Wow, old school. But I can see how that forces discipline.
My grandma swore by it. But of course, now we have apps for everything.
Right, the tech side. What tools does the article mention for budgeting?
Lots of options. Mint is well known for tracking expenses, pulling all your accounts together, gives you that big picture overview.
Okay.
YN, as we said, is more proactive about planning the budget before you spend.
More hands-on digitally.
Yeah. And Pocket Guard, as mentioned, is simplifying things, trying to quickly show you how much is safe to spend.
Makes sense. These sound really helpful. But where do people mess up with budgeting? Common mistakes.
Well, definitely a few pitfalls. One big one is underestimating the little things.
Yeah.
Those small subscriptions, the daily coffee.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Exactly. They add up fast. Another mistake is setting a budget and then never looking at it again.
Right. It needs to adapt.
Absolutely. Life changes. You lose a job. You get a raise. Inflation hits your grocery bill harder. Your budget needs to reflect reality. It's a living thing, not a static document.
That's a really good point. Needs ongoing attention. Okay, so moving on. The article gets into automated financial tools. This feels like a really big shift.
It really is. Automation is changing the game in personal finance, making things easier, more efficient.
How so? What kind of tools are we talking about?
Well, there are a few types. You've got robo-advisors, names like Betterment, Wealthfront come up.
What do they do?
They use algorithms, basically computer programs, to build and manage an investment portfolio for you based on your goals and how much risk you're comfortable with.
So, automated investing.
Pretty much. Then you have these AI-powered apps like Copilot or Monarch Money. These dig into your spending, your income, and try to give you personalized insights, like having a data analyst for your own finances.
Interesting.
And simpler tools too, like automated savings apps. Acorns, Chime are examples. They do things like round up your purchases to the nearest dollar and automatically invest the spare change.
Making saving almost invisible?
Yeah, leveraging inertia for good.
So what are the big upsides of all this automation? Why is it taking off?
Several key benefits. Obvious one is time saving. Automating bill pay, expense tracking, even investing frees up mental energy.
Sure.
It also reduces human error. Fewer typos in spreadsheets, fewer missed payments if things are automated.
Good point.
And maybe most importantly, it can boost discipline. Automating savings or investments means it happens without you having to actively decide each time. It takes the emotion out of it sometimes.
Right. Removes that moment of hesitation where you might spend it instead.
Exactly.
Okay, sounds great. But surely there are downsides, limitations.
There are, and it's important to be aware. Relying too much on tech always has risks. What if there's a glitch, a system outage?
Or a data breach. We hear about those all the time.
That's a huge concern, especially with financial data. Privacy is critical. Also, these tools are great for straightforward situations, but they might lack the nuance of human advice for complex financial planning or, unique life events.
You might still need to talk to a person for the really tricky stuff.
Potentially, yes. The human touch can still be valuable.
And the article mentioned a specific 2025 trend AI financial coaches. Sounds very sci-fi.
It does, but it's happening now. Think of AI assistants, like SideBySide's AI money mentor mentioned in the source, that you can chat with, ask questions about your finances, get personalized tips.
Like ChatGPT for your bank account.
Kind of. And they're using predictive analytics too, looking at your past habits to forecast future scenarios and help you make smarter choices before you spend.
Wow. That's potentially really powerful, but maybe a bit creepy too.
Huh? Yeah, there's definitely a discussion to be had there, which actually leads into some of the challenges the article touches on.
The dark side of finance tech.
You could say that. Things like algorithmic bias. Could the algorithms guiding financial decisions inadvertently discriminate?
Yeah, that's a worry.
Privacy concerns, as we mentioned. How is all this data being used protected? And the crypto debate continues huge potential for some, but also regulatory fights like the SEC lawsuits in 2024, the article notes.
It's still a bit of a Wild West.
In some ways, yes. And there's a psychological impact, too. When money is just numbers on a screen, invisible money, it can be easier to overspend.
Definitely felt that with contactless payments.
Right. And the article mentions rising financial anxiety. A 2025 APA study is cited. All this information, all these tools can sometimes feel overwhelming, too.
So it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, we've covered a ton of ground here. Investing, budgeting, all this new tech. What's a big takeaway? The main message.
I think the core idea is that mastering personal finance, it's not about hitting some magical number. It's about gaining control, feeling secure. And that's genuinely achievable for everyone. You don't need to be rich to start.
Right. It's about agency. So boiling it down, what are the concrete actions listeners can take away from this?
Okay, 3 main things jump out from the article. 1, invest wisely. Understand your options, diversify, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and think long-term. Don't react to every market blip.
Got it. Long game.
2, budget effectively. Really track where your money goes. Adjust your budget as life changes. And use automation to make it easier. Find a system that works for you.
Makes sense.
And 3, use technology smartly. Explore these robo-advisors, AI tools, see if they fit your needs. But be aware of the risks, the limitations. Don't rely on them blindly.
Invest, budget, use tech wisely. Okay. The article ends with a great quote.
Yeah, it's simple but powerful. The best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is now.
No excuses then. Just gotta start.
Pretty much. It underlines that taking that first step is the most important thing.
Absolutely. And, thinking about all this, especially the AI developments, here's a final thought to chew on. How might AI-driven finance truly change our fundamental relationship with money by, say, 2030? Will it feel completely different?
That's a huge question. Really fascinating to think about the deeper impact.
Definitely. Well, hopefully this deep dive gave you some solid starting points. If you want to dig deeper, keep exploring those resources out there. Thanks for joining us.